Hello viewers, Pranam and welcome to DVM Global. So, inner calling. Have you ever heard about it? Or do you know how it feels to listen to your own inner self? Do you have any idea that just listening to your inner self can transform your own life to a great extent? So, this is the story about a man who listened to his inner self. This isn't just a story or the teachings of the greatest guru, Lord Hanuma, but also the greatest knowledge received by his disciple, the efforts of the greatest disciple who delivered this knowledge to this world. So let's get into the story. It's a normal afternoon, and everything under the sky is ordinary: the air, the atmosphere, the trees, and a crowd of tribal people. But there is something suspicious or unusual going there. It's two people watching or observing this crowd. The tribal people were busy in collecting the firewood, and these two men were busy watching them. The undeceived birds, they're trying to understand or dictate or detect the intentions of these trespassers. So, what's happening in that forest? Who are these men? And why they are observing these tribal people? So, these two men were conversing among themselves. Another day wasted. Hanudas, there is nothing special about these people. We are just wasting our time. So, we don't need to take another chance or a moment to decide that they cannot see Lord Hanuma. They are like ordinary, like us. So the two people sitting behind the tree and watching the tribal are Hanudas and Swamiji. Now Swamiji, feeling resigned that they are wasting time observing these tribal people, but Hanudas has different insight or different feeling about these people. Even though he nodded towards Swamiji saying, "You might be right, Swamiji." He crouched to the back of a tree and thinking, looking towards the face of his companion and seeing his research papers, he lost in a remnants. He's just lost in his thoughts. So 5 years ago, this man, Hanudas, doesn't know anything about Hanuma. Being a Hindu, his own religion is an alien to him, except for offering prayers on special occasions and giving to the charities. Until one day, he lost his wife in an accident. His only son was being tortured and tormented by a psychological disorder named schizophrenia. So, you might have watched a Bollywood film, it's both in Hollywood and Bollywood. The movie name is Three. So, in that movie, Dhanush undergoes a psychological disorder, mental disorder. He see people who doesn't exist and he get tortured by things that aren't real. So this man's son also diagnosed with the same disease. He was being tortured with some unknown disease, with the people that aren't real, with the things that doesn't exist at all. He's a very rich man. He's a businessman. He has all the assets. He has the name and fame, but nothing could save his son from this mental disorder. So these situations around him sucked the life drop by drop. And he helplessly saw his son being tortured with this. He already lost his wife and he lost his son one day to this cruel mental disorder. Now he has nothing to lose. And the day he buried his son, he buried all his thoughts. He just became thoughtless, empty, like a hollow. The sounds around, he couldn't even feel his senses. The sound around him, the air, he couldn't touch, feel the touch. They are just going through it. The sounds are going through his ears, and the air, he couldn't feel it. His mind couldn't register anything. He just become thoughtless and empty. So he was returning back from his son's funeral. He was in a car, stuck in a traffic jam. And suddenly he saw something magical, Bigfoot, a monkey like thing flying on his car. It's not his car, the car beside him. He got back to his senses. His mind started registered to this unexpected event. And he came to his senses shouting, Bigfoot, some magical being. And his brother beside him was thought, seeing at his brother shouting, he might be mentally disturbed with his son's death. So he's behaving unusual. And he said to his brother, Brother, you need some rest. He was looking in disbelief. He was facing his brother, and then he suddenly saw, and the magical creature isn't there anymore, hovering over the car. But there is a flag in front of the car that has the same imprint of the creature he saw hovering over the car. And there is a holy man in that car. He looks like a sage. The experience that he saw was very real. So that day, this man left all his identity, all the assets, his businesses, everything in the country, and came in search of this guru who was sitting in that car. And he is Gurudeva. So, my dear friends, death, it teaches us many things. So, how important the life is, so the death is. And this death has brought this man closure to his purpose. So he left everything, even his name, and he came back to India. And he met the Guru. That day, he explained whatever he saw over his car to the Gurudeva, and he's so happy with the experience. And the moment when he explained the experience that he went through, he saw that day, he was little embarrassed. He was doubtful that people may label him mad. So he explained with a little doubt, but Gurudeva assured him that it was a very real experience. And that day, adding to the experience of this man, Gurudeva said that, yeah, so Lord Hanma was hovering over my car to help me protect from the evil souls, because I help misery stricken souls to heal. So that's why Lord Hanuma was there with me on that day. And the very moment you buried your son, your mind was empty. You reached a state called Sunya. And that's the state where you connect with the divine beings. That's the state of divinity. And you could, for a moment, saw Lord Hanuma. And again, your logical mind comes into the play. It started labeling with something magical, something suspicious, something unusual. So when your mind entered, you lost the divine power to see the Lord Hanuma. So he agreed, and Gurudeva has named this man as Hanudas, The meaning of this name Hanudas is the one who surrendered for Lord Hanuma. So this man was very sure about his existence now. He stayed with the Gurudeva. So he said, Gurudeva, you are right. When the mind entered into the play, I lost the divine power to see Lord Hanuma. Now what I should do to see the Lord Hanuma again? It just felt like the large Hanuma that I saw just turned into a smaller form and entered into the flag. I could only see the imprint later on. The form, the holy form of Lord Hanuma has disappeared. Then Gurudeva gave a broad smile, saying, the imprint on the flag, yes. For all the ordinary eyes of human being, he's just an imprint in the flag. Do you know, in the war of Mahabharata, Lord Hanuma was there floating in the air above the chariot of Arjuna, protecting from covert attacks. But only Krishna and Pandavas could see him. And the remaining people, he just see the flag. So for the ordinary people, he's just an imprint on the flag. But he was there. For ordinary people, they are covered with Maya. Then Hanudas asks, how can I see Lord Hanuma again? When I will get the darshan of Lord Hanuma? Because now he has nothing to lose. The time he buried his son, he lost everything already. He lost his wife, he lost his son. Now what does he have to lose at all? So he's very disappointed and desperate. He's devastated. Because now, what else he can lose to get the darshan of Lord Hanuma? Then Gurudeva says, only a pure soul can see Lord Hanuma. You need to become pure again to see, to get the darshan of Lord Hanuma. So, how to become pure again? The Hanudas asks. Then Gurudeva answers, an aware soul is a pure soul. So, what is an aware soul? How can an aware soul be a pure soul? I think this question arised in every one of you. The same question arised in Hanudas' mind. So what is an aware soul? What is a pure soul? A soul which knows where it has come from, and the soul which knows where it will be headed to is a pure soul, is an aware soul, says Gurudeva. And he questions Hanudas, do you know where you has come from and where you will be heading to? Do you know your destination? Do you know who you are? Then you will be an aware soul. Then Hanudas replied, yes, Gurudeva. Now I have nothing to lose. I have no urge to yearn, no urge to go behind anything. I'll dedicate the remaining life of mine to you, in the service of you, in a spiritual pursuit. And to this, he answered, Gurudeva was a little disappointed. I didn't expect such a kind of answer from you, Hanudas. Earlier, you are behind materialistic things, and now you are just escaping from knowing who you are, from knowing what's your destination, in the name of spiritual pursuit. This is just tag. This is just covering up your own self. This isn't true. Your soul isn't speaking this, but your mind is. This is also a kind of mind trick. You're just labeling it. Then some unknown emotion has rushed to Hanudas. He started crying uncontrollably. He doesn't know what's happening within him, but the words of Gurudeva has triggered something in him. So he fell down before Gurudeva and he started crying uncontrollably. But Gurudeva was unmoved. He was ruffling the feathers of a parrot on his hand. And then he gave a cue to the parrot to fly away. So after the Hanudas has calmed himself, and finally Hanudas calmed himself and looked into the eyes of Gurudeva. And then Gurudeva started speaking. Hanudas, this weak crying self isn't you. You are a powerful soul directed by Lord Hanuma. So this weak, helpless, crying being is just your mind, a weak mind directed by Maya. Like every other human being on this earth, what usually happens is Maya direct your mind, and through the Maya directed mind, we take or we do the actions. But what really should happen is the divine power should direct our soul, and then the soul should direct our mind, and the mind should direct our body. And that's how we need to make decisions and lead our actions. But this often happens in a reverse sequence. So Maya is everywhere. Get out of it and know who you are and know your destination. Start your journey. So Gurudeva explained this and he suddenly stopped. And in a very spark moment of time, Hanudas saw a flicker of light before him. And in the flicker of light that appeared before him, he understood what his destination is, where he need to be headed. And the next day, he just took his requirements, and most importantly, he took blessings from Gurudeva and left the hermitage in search of nothing. He don't know what he's searching for, but there is an inner calling within him. All he has to do is to lure his mind into sleep. He want to awaken his soul and listen to his soul and reach wherever this soul will lead him. So he traveled and traveled and traveled to plains, to crowded cities, to a wide variety of people. He has seen all the age group of people. He almost traveled all the country just in search of nothing. He just want to make his mind asleep. And whenever he reaches his destination, he want his soul to direct him. So he went on traveling. He saw every single place. And one day he reached a place. It's a small village in a forest where tribal people live. And something unusual, some lingering feeling about this tribal people has triggered in his soul. It isn't coming from mind. And the soul is telling there is something divine is there with this tribal people. After many years of traveling, he felt a sensation that he felt nowhere. So he stopped there. And he has been tailing this tribal people from a very long time. He understood that the signals or the messages he's receiving is not from his mind but from his soul. So he wanted to know why his inner calling is directing towards these people. What's special about them? Who are they? And why did I stop here? He questioned himself and he started telling these people. So, this is the first scene we saw at the beginning of the story. So, there were two other monks who were staying along with Hanudas. They are Swamiji and Brahmachariji. So, Swamiji and Brahmachari, along with Hanudas, has been trying to understand or trying to know about these tribal people from several months. But there was no improvement in their research. So the fellow companions thought it is a waste of time to tell these people. They are no special at all. But there is something inside Hanudas, some inner urge pushing him to know about them. So, who are these people? Is there really something special about these tribal people? Why did Hanudas' inner self has pushed him or made him reach these tribal people? Do they really have some divine powers, or do they really interact with Lord Hanuma, the immortal Guru? Let us know in the next episode. Signing off, Deepthi.